Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Bette McCarthy, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. The meeting of the Old Kings Highway, the Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, we must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, please make their presence known. All right, I guess no one is recording, so we will proceed. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Act under Section 9 of Chapter 470, Acts of 1973 as amended, you are hereby notified that a hearing will be held tonight on the applications listed on the agenda for January 8th, 2025. This meeting will be handled remotely. And we'd like to remind all applicants and audience members that we are an elected volunteer committee, and we follow the guidelines of the Town of Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Act. So any applicant or interested party who's aggrieved by any of our decisions of this committee, they have a right to appeal the decision to the Old Kings Highway Regional Historic Commission. We ask that during this evening's proceedings, cell phones be turned off and conversations other than those before the committee take place outside of this meeting. When an applicant is called, we ask that the applicant and all interested parties identify themselves. And lastly, as best practices for meetings that are held remotely, where we may not be able to visually identify who's speaking, we ask all committee members, participants to identify themselves before making a motion or any comments. Online audience members wishing to participate during the public comment section of the hearing, they can use the raised hand button to notify the chair. Dial-in audience members wishing to participate in the section of the public hearing should press *9 on their phones to notify the chair. And all participants will be muted, and you must be recognized by the chair in order to participate. So our first order of business tonight is to take roll call. So we'll do that now. Wendy Schuck?
Here.
Ryan Caholen?
Here.
Leslie Wallace?
Here.
And Bette McCarthy here. So because this is a new year, we must elect a chair and a clerk for this committee. So are there any nominations for a chair?
I nominate Leslie Wallace. I nominate Bette McCarthy.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
All right. And a roll call vote. Wendy Schuck?
Aye.
Ryan Caholen?
Aye.
Leslie Wallace?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. And now we need nominations for a clerk. And I'd like to nominate Wendy Schuck to be our clerk for this year for the committee.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second that.
All right. Thank you. And a roll call vote. Ryan Caholen?
Aye.
Leslie Wallace?
Aye.
And Bette McCarthy? Aye. So thank you all very much, and we can proceed. So our very first item this evening is a continued application for Susan and Richard Bloom. Apparently, these applicants have asked for a continuance to the next meeting, which would be let's see, on January 22nd. So I guess we need a motion to accept the continuance for that application.
Sure. This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to continue the certificate of appropriateness application for Richard and Susan Bloom, 2644 Main Street, Barnstable, map 258, parcel 006, built in 1980, to the remote meeting to be held on January 22nd at 6:30 p.m.
Brian Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy. So that meeting will be postponed to our next meeting. Our next continued application is for Frank and Margaret Andre Aukus of 51st Way, Barnstable, map 301, parcel 046, and it was built in 1974 to construct a new 30 feet deep by 64 feet long and 30 feet high home as modified. So is our, since this is continued, we don't need to open a public hearing. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct. We had opened at the last meeting.
Great. So would the applicant please like to discuss their modified project?
Yeah, hi. I hope everyone can hear me okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, great. Happy New Year to everybody. So with this project, it was proposed, it was a lot larger house from the original design that was proposed on the first time around. We shrunk the house. If you go down to these are the revised drawings. It's a more simplified design. I think I'm gonna have to go down a little farther to see the before, what was submitted. If you keep going down, keep going down. Oh, no, they're not in there. The original design basically was had a roof deck on the third level and a dormer basically to the right of that, which was unbalanced. So we removed that and just made a very small, simplistic dormer that's on the front elevation there that you're circling. Thank you. With small awning windows. We also removed, there was a porch over the front, which we took the porch off to kind of simplify it. And we made changes to the windows. They were 6/6. We changed them to 4/1 to make them a little bit more simpler looking. The quality. There was also skylights to the left above the door where the F, I think you see the F windows, a little dormer on the left structure. If you move the arrow to that right there, there were two skylights up there that were facing the road. We took those out and put in a little eyebrow dormer there just to let the light in and get rid of the skylights. And no, we just shrunk it, simplified it. It's like it's a colonial style from the larger version it was before. From the side view, the next shot, that's the rear view. So the rear view basically, 4/1 windows. We have a screen porch, but we shrunk the screen porch. It's smaller. We did leave the skylights on the upper right-hand side, but they're on the rear, on the roof there, and simplify the dormer in the back. So basically, it's a lot more simplified version of what was originally approved with the exterior, again, the front roof deck and a lot more things that was on there. We made the garage a little smaller for the lot. And the side view over here, there's a side entry door. Again, we simplified everything. We took the porch off. Just try to keep it more simplistic for the lot. And pretty much that was it. I don't know if you have, there's an opposite shot there, that side there. So what it stayed was we made it smaller though a little bit and we cleaned it up. There was a little roof deck, second floor deck there, but we, a very traditional railing system on there. and just traditional looking windows with the 401 and the 4-light windows in the kitchen area. And you can see from the side porch view, the porch is very small. It's like half the size of what was originally there. The screen porch.
Okay. All right. How about the committee? What are your thoughts regarding this modification of the original? Wendy, would you like to discuss
Sure.
the
I will
change?
say we don't often get modifications where the properties are made smaller. That doesn't happen very often. So, and it's not a bad thing at all. I think the design is very appropriate for the area. A couple questions. So the materials are all the same as you had originally planned in terms of the siding and
Yes,
paint
white
colors and
cedar,
all that. Yeah.
white cedar, very traditional, white cedar shingles, 5-inch exposure, standard, white trim. The front door will be a Simpson door, wood door, the 4-light with the side lights. The railing system will be the traditional, AZAC handrail system. Roof shingles, traditional architectural. Everything pretty much like the original. No changes there.
Okay.
All the windows are simulated divided light, SDL, Anderson 400 series windows, which we've used on a lot of our projects in the past, and they look great. The nice definition from the street, and look like a true divided light window, basically. And the doors too. The doors are actually true divided. The front door is a true divided light door, the Simpson door.
Okay.
The 4-light with the side lights. It's a fur door. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, a nice improvement from the home, that's on the lot right now. I think it will blend in nicely with the area, and the other homes there. So I don't have any other comments, Leslie. Beth, that's it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Wendy, Brian, what are your comments regarding this modification?
Could I see the site plan? I think it's page 5 there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot to fit the property. So, yeah, to echo, usually these changes are to make it bigger, and this was the opposite. I think you've done really well based on our previous discussions on this particular property. I agree. I think it's appropriate.
Thank you. Leslie, what are your comments?
I feel the same, much better size for the lot. I like the little touches, the window up above the front door with the side lights and that little, I can't remember, whisper, go over to the left. Hi.
The eyebrow, Leslie, the eyebrow.
Yes.
I love that term. Yeah.
I think that is adorable. I like that very much. And I'm all for it. I think it looks much better. The 4-over-1's good. I think you did a great job. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And now, Beth McCarthy, my comments. I concur with all of the committee remarks, and I think this blends in very well with the neighborhood, and the size is more appropriate than the original. So I don't have any issues at all. I wonder if there's anybody in the public wishing to comment on this modification.
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I do not see anyone wishing to speak to this item at this time.
All right. So then we need a motion to close the public hearing portion of this application.
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
And Beth McCarthy. Aye. So now we need a motion to approve the application.
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Frank and Margaret Andriaskis, 51st Way, Barnstable, map 301, parcel 046, built 1974, as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy. Aye. So application is approved. All
All right.
set.
Thank you very much,
Start
guys.
your-
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a
All
great day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Our next application is for Stephen Hilton, trustee of 94 Harvey Avenue, Barnstable, map 319, parcel 105, built in 1961, to remove the roof system, to change the pitch from 8 to 12, and which would be matching the rear dormer, and to add a dormer on the front of the house. We now need to open a public hearing for this application.
This is Wendy Schuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy. Aye. So now, would the applicant for Harvey Avenue wish to discuss their project?
Hi, Scott Ryan, contractor for Mr. Hilton. We're looking to take the roof off and just add a steeper pitch to accommodate 2 rooms upstairs that are existing there now, and add a front shed dormer, full width on the front of the house. I believe it's stepped in about 2 feet on each end to match the rear. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everything's to match existing, the 6/6 windows, which are currently, they're fine like glass, grills between the glass. There'll be white cedar shingles on all 4 sides and an architectural roof with white trim.
Okay. All right. How about the committee remarks? Leslie Wallace, would you like to discuss?
I'm glad you're keeping the footprint small going up. That's good because these lots are not all that big.
No, they're very tight, so we're just
Yeah.
trying to
No, and it
improve
looks,
what's
yep,
there.
yep, it looks proportional. I really have no complaints. I think it's gonna look good. Yeah, and it's 6/6, right?
Correct.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, everything on the first floor now has been replaced, 6/6. The picture
Okay,
window does
okay.
not have any grills, so we're
All
just
right, so
matching.
you're
what's
keeping
there.
it the same. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm all right with this.
Okay. All right. Are you finished, Leslie? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good. All right, Brian, what are your remarks about this?
I think this improvement fits in with the neighborhood. I think it's appropriate.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Wendy.
Yes, I agree. I think it's appropriate. I think it's going to look very nice, as Leslie said, very proportional. I think it's nice. Just curious, so you have to take the whole roof off, including the dormer that's already there, and then rebuild that back dormer and add a front dormer?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
wow.
to make all the insulation work and everything else, so
Yeah.
just easier to go that way.
Yeah, let's hope for good weather for you, right?
Yeah, thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
so no other comments from me, Bet.
Okay, thanks. And this is Beth McCarthy. I visited the property, and I think my estimation is that this is very appropriate to put the dormer on and to raise the roof. So I think it will blend in fine with the neighborhood.
Great, thank you.
Now, are there any members of the public wishing to discuss this?
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I do not see anyone from the public wishing to speak to this item at this time.
Oh, all right then. So then we can close the public hearing section for this application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And then we need a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. So now we need a motion to approve the application for 94 Harvey Avenue.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Stephen Hilton, trustee, 94 Harvey Avenue, Barnstable, map 319, parcel 105, built 1961, as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. So all set to rip off that roof.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you. All right. Our next application is for Linda Davidson of 35 Cedar Crest Lane, West Barnstable, map 131, parcel 013/007, built in 1982, and is to construct a detached 16 by 24 garage on a monolithic concrete slab. So we need to open.
Hi,
we need to open a public hearing for this application.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And we need a roll call vote on that. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. So now is the applicant or their representative for 35 Cedar Crest available?
Hopefully you can hear me. Jamie McGrath representing Mrs. Davidson from Pine Harbor Wood Products.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. I am at a Dennis Historic District meeting also at the same time, so I am doing this via telephone, not Zoom. I apologize. I am here to present a 16 by 24 detached, as mentioned, detached one-car garage. It's a slight little salt box design. The house has some salt box features to it, so we're carrying that over to the garage. Essentially, the exterior of the building is in keeping with the house. It's a brown terratone style awning. Casement window that matches the house. Architectural roof shingles, natural cedar clapboards. It is white PVC trim that will be either painted, and I apologize on this. I believe the trim on the house is also white, and maybe I do have that in front of me with the pictures. I apologize, 1 second. I know it's going to match the house whether it gets painted or if she already has white trim on the house according to the pictures, but it will match the house. There's a 9 by 7 just regular steel overhead door and a door and a couple of windows on the high side that faces the house and a double casement on the back gable end. Again, happy to answer any questions. I think this is very in keeping with what we have in the house. Kind of a dead end street down there, a big lot. I don't know that anybody's really going to see this thing anyway.
Okay. All right. Thanks. What are the committee remarks? Wendy, would you like to comment?
Sure. Do you know what color the garage door will be painted? In the diagram, it looks like it's white. Are they going to keep it white, or do you think they'll paint it?
I think they're going to keep it correct. No, I think it'll be white.
Okay. I agree. I think it mimics the style of the house, which is nice. One other question is, I couldn't quite figure out like where on the lot this is going to sit. I know there was a little diagram in there.
Yep.
Is it going to be like
We
right
did
off
submit
that circle in the driveway?
Yes, correct. Yep, right toward the end. If you see the pictures that we submitted, there is a car, Toyota Camry there, and it's just to the left back. There's no tree removal or anything.
Okay.
It's just basically a continuation of that existing parking space.
Okay.
So she'll be able to drive in. She's going to keep the parking area where the car is, if you do see the pictures that we had submitted. And then it's going to be she'll be able to park there or pull further into the garage. So it's going right there.
Right. I do think that the garage door would probably look better painted, because the color of the garage is so dark and the white. I'm looking at the house now. I think it's got some like green trim on the corner boards. And the windows are like a tan color.
Yeah, you're right. Now that I found my pictures, and that's what I was saying before, is it's PVC trim that will be painted to, everything will match the exterior. And I agree with you. Two things on the garage door, and I can submit, if we did not, a cut sheet. I generally do not love the small raised panel look
Yeah.
to those doors. We would probably do more of a long panel straight across, or a flush mount door, and then we will paint it the same color as the trim.
Okay, that would be great. And I agree that style garage door is not my favorite either, but going to
I
a
think
different.
it's kind of a placeholder.
Yeah.
And if we did not submit, we usually use a flush. It's got a little wood grain texture, but a flush door. I do not use those small raised panel doors like this with all those sections, and that's my fault. I should have told my CAD designer to change that. So we'll have a flush.
Okay.
A flush door painted the same color as the trim, which matches the house.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's it for me, Beth.
Okay. Ryan, what are your remarks?
Cedar Crest is a private road that's like what, 1,200, 1,500 feet off of a public way. I'm good. No exceptions.
All right. Great. Thank you, Ryan. And Leslie.
Yeah, ditto.
I'd be going to have breakfast with them if I ever saw it.
Yeah, goodbye, me.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Leslie. And this is Beth McCarthy, and I like the comments that were made with the applicant, and I feel that the garage is appropriate and fitting for the neighborhood and blending in well with the home. So do we have any members of the public wishing to comment?
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I do not see anyone from the public wishing to comment on this at this time.
All right. If that's the case, then we need to close the public hearing.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
And Beth McCarthy. Aye. So now we need a motion to approve the construction for this garage.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Linda Davidson, 35 Cedar Crest Lane, West Barnstable, map 131, parcel 013/007, built 1984, with a modification to change the garage doors to flush mounted, and all trim will be painted to match the house, otherwise as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
And Beth McCarthy. Aye. So you're all set. Go ahead. Thank you very much.
I think I'm next also, actually.
Okay. All right. Our next application is for Deborah and Edward Mara, 3517 Main Street, Barnstable, map 317, parcel 005, built in 1856 to construct a 16 by 24 foot barn on a concrete frost wall foundation. So we need to open a public hearing for this application.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So is the applicant or their representative available to discuss the barn for 3517 Main Street?
Jamie McGrath here again from Pine Harbor Wood Products on behalf of the Marab family, and I am happy to try to walk you through what we are proposing.
Okay.
You're good. So this is a small 16 by 24 timber frame barn that will be in the back driveway, not facing 6A, but facing the side road there, which I am neglect to know the name of. There will be a small loft space upstairs. They're looking for some space up there. So there is a stairway to the second floor, hence the dormer that will face away from Route 6A. The building has what we call our estate trim package. It's a boxed out eave trim that kind of mirrors, I shouldn't use the word mirror, but replicates to some degree what there is on the house, on part of the house. Part of the house has got some big old, as you know, built in 1858, historic style trim. And then the back side of the house has some more basic trim. This would be a little bit with flying rakes, returns, 2/2 SDL vinyl windows with historic sills and regular casings. There would be a dormer. The dormer, in order to gain access for the stairway in the back right corner, is not stepped in. I don't think you will ever see this. Maybe the abutter would, and we'll have to see if they have any comments on that. But the dormer from a stairway standpoint really helped us by kind of doing a full dormer. We planned on running the trim through the trim lines down on that, even though it's kind of a fake trim line because the dormer itself is not stepped in. It will be stepped in on the front. There are awning windows upstairs in that dormer because we didn't want to take this thing out of scale and put double hungs in there, but we were looking for kind of southern exposure back there. This would be like a little kind of a workspace studio area, unfinished, but a workspace kind of studio area upstairs. Sliding barn doors on the front with a little roof overhang covering that, and it would be white. It's a composite. It's essentially hardy plank siding, pre-finished white, and the trim is white, and the doors are white, and the roof would match the house, which I believe is black. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. All right, that's pretty comprehensive. So let's see if the committee remarks on that. Leslie Wallace.
What we're seeing on the left, that's what you'd see from 6A.
Yeah, the door, the pass door, and the 202 window would face the house. I don't think you're going to see this building actually from Route 6A. If you did a drive-by, I'm not sure whether you had the chance or not, but it's an elevated house, and
Yeah.
it's a very narrow lot. So I think you'll only see this from the side street. But yes, that does face back towards the house and towards 6A.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have no objections. Are you gonna put a cupola up?
They do like the cupola, and I was just saying it's a little too small on the plan, so we'll probably increase the size on that to like a 30-inch cupola. It will have glass. They did ask for that option. So it would be a PVC cupola with a copper roof, stimulated divided light, 4-light sash in it, but it's going to appear a little bit bigger than the plan shows.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Thanks, Leslie. Ryan, what are your comments?
Erica, could you just pull up the site plan, please? Great, thank you. Yeah, I think you'd have to be looking forward to see it from 6A. I think the exposure to Cindy Lane is totally reasonable. I think it was creative to extend the dormer to accommodate the staircase up on the inside. What's the clapboard exposure? 5-inch,
Four and a
6-inch,
quarter.
4 1/4.
Four and a quarter.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I think it's appropriate.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Wendy.
Yeah, I agree with all the comments. I think it will blend nicely with the house and the other homes in the immediate area. I think all the materials are appropriate. You know, the way it's situated, you do have a long, narrow lot there, probably not a whole lot of options where you could put it. And probably won't be visible from 6A. And then Cindy Lane is not a heavily traveled road, so I don't have no concerns on my part, Bet.
Good. Thank you, Wendy. And this is Bet McCarthy. In my estimation, this barn blends in very well with the antique home, and it's on Cindy Lane. You would not see it at all from 6A. So I don't think there are any issues at all concerning it. So I'm fine with the proposal. Is there anybody in the public wishing to comment? Are there any neighbors or any members of the public?
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I do not see anyone wishing to speak to this item at this time.
Oh, okay, very good. So then we can close the public hearing.
This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Ryan
right.
Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. A roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bet McCarthy, aye. So now we need a motion to approve the application.
Yep, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Edward and Deborah Marab, 3517 Main Street, Barnstable, map 317, parcel 005, built 1858, as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And we need a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bet McCarthy, aye. So happy barn building.
I got my work cut out for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next application is for the town of Barnstable for 425 Sandy Neck Road, West Barnstable, map 263, parcel 001, built in 1991. And it's to demo the existing shed at the off-road vehicle entrance and the overlook deck to relocate existing gatehouse, the historic marker, and the flagpole up the road. So we need to open a public hearing, I guess, for this, or can we do both together, Erica, or do we need to do them separately?
That is up to the committee. I tend to like to keep them separate just because it's easier to follow.
Sure. Okay. So we'll open a public hearing then for the demo.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bet McCarthy, aye. So now is the somebody from the town of Barnstable ready to talk about the demo of the existing shed and the overlook deck.
Hi, my name's Justine. I'm a consultant working for the town with Woods Hole Group. Nina Coleman is also here as well. So you can see in this picture right here, this is the shed on the right-hand side, that current air compressor shed, and you can see it's also in that furthest left bottom hand photo as well. That shed is going to be demolished and we are going to build a new shed. The purpose of that is to make it more resistant to flooding, and to also improve the flow and public safety of this area.
Okay. Are there any committee comments then on this? Leslie,
No,
Brian,
This is just for the demolition, correct?
this is just for the demo and the,
I have no comments.
okay. Wendy,
Same here, no comment. I mean, there's nothing architecturally or historically significant about this shed, so
yeah.
I'm fine.
And Bette McCarthy also. I have no comment. So then we can close the public hearing section for the demo.
This is Wendy.
Just as a point of order, Bette, real quick,
Yes.
before you proceed, because the application for a demo is also the relocation application for the gatehouse. So I didn't know if you want to discuss
relocation.
the
Okay.
gatehouse as well.
Okay. All right. So
Do you want me to touch on the gatehouse? I can.
it's to relocate the gatehouse, the historic marker, and the flagpole up the road. So
Yeah, so you can see right here where Erica's cursor kind of is this existing gatehouse area. You can see the flagpole with the flag blowing in the wind in front of it, and the rock is right below it. This isn't actually the original location of this historic item. It was located by the ORV trail previously, and it was moved at some point. In the description, it's the rock and flagpole appeared that they should be kept together at the entrance of the site. So the gatehouse is being relocated up near this path at this other point, again, to improve its resilience to flooding. The structure itself is going to be moved. So the structure and its exterior features will be remaining. The flagpole and the rock will remain with the gatehouse, as this is the entrance to the site.
okay. All right. So then we need I guess the committee, there are no comments regarding any of this. Is that correct?
Just a question: is there an actual site plan to show where that gatehouse is going to be placed on the property?
Yes, in the certificate of appropriateness application, there are the engineering plans. So that yes, and Erica's also pulling up these sketch plans. Erica, if you go to page 6, that's where it is.
All right, so I think that's part of the next, is that correct? That's part of the next,
application.
that's the next application.
No, I
But
see
just to
demo
reference where
and relocation. So when I see relocation,
Oh, the relocation. All right,
yeah.
you're right.
So
Okay.
Ryan, you can see the pink location where there's now 6 parking spots down near the entrance where Erica's cursor is. That's where the existing one is. And then if you move up the hill a little bit, that's where the relocated gatehouse will be. And actually, if anyone wants to go out to the site, these stakes, these numbers with these blue dots, these are stakes that we did for the NOI, and they're still out at the site.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm good. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Leslie, any comments?
Yeah, what are you gonna do when you remove the existing with the road? Are you gonna reconfigure it? Or
We're going to reconfigure it. There's going to be parking in place where the current building
Okay.
is, a few
All
parking
right.
spaces. And it'll be reconfigured, and it will be improved for pedestrian safety.
So
Every
where the arrow is now is gonna continue to be the main road.
the main road will shift slightly.
Right there, yep,
Yep.
okay.
That will
Okay.
shift slightly, but it will mimic what it currently looks like.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Does that conclude your remarks on this, Leslie?
yeah. It
Yeah.
looked like a breast. I
right.
wanna get rid of it.
Wendy?
Yeah, just curious. I know that the road currently down by the gatehouse is sort of a mess, I think, from all the flooding. It's got
Mhm.
potholes and chopped up. So do you have to build that road up to avoid that flooding again? I assume it'll be
It's a great question.
repaved. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be repaved. The idea is that we've removed or relocated features that are vulnerable to flooding, and then the road itself, there will be some flooding that continues to
yeah,
go along the road, and I believe it will be repaired as needed.
yeah.
There, where Erica's cursor is now, you can kind of see that truck.
Yep.
There's that little offshoot there. There's actually going to be, and we can talk about this with the next application, but there's going to be vegetation added there as well.
Oh,
The hope is that we add a slight buffer, but the actual platform of this area will not be
yeah,
raised.
right. Okay. That was
All right.
all I had. Thank you.
All right. This is Bette McCarthy, and I visited the site. I saw the stakes for the new gatehouse, the location, and I know that there was significant flooding, so it's not it's really necessary to move this. So
It really is. Yeah, for
yeah,
continued use of the site, it's really
yeah.
important.
All right. I don't have any other comments. Um, then we need to know if there's any members of the public wishing to talk about the demo and the relocation of the existing gatehouse.
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I don't see anyone from the public wishing to speak to this item.
All right. So then we can close the public hearing for this application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now we need to have a motion to approve the demo and the relocation.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the demolition and relocation applications for the town of Barnstable, 425 Sandy Neck Road, West Barnstable, map 263, parcel 001, built 1991, as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now we need a motion to approve. Wait a minute. That was closing the public hearing, right?
No, we just approved the application.
And to approve the application.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now we'll go on to the next application for the town of Barnstable, 425 Sandy Neck Road, West Barnstable, map 263, parcel 001, built in 1991, to update the gatehouse siding and paint, to construct 2 new compressor sheds, to update the pergola at the bathhouse, to rebuild the overlook, and to update the lighting and the fencing. So now we need to open a public hearing for this part of the application.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Ryan
Thank you.
Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now with the representative discuss updating the gatehouse and the compressor sheds, the pergola, overlook, and the lighting and the fencing.
Yes. Erica, do you mind pulling up that PowerPoint presentation that's in the other file? It's in the demolition file, I believe. Just think it would be helpful to start there. Perfect. You can go to the next. So you can see this is the upper parking lot area, just for context of this project. To Nina's credit, this has been a labor of love since 2016, and the whole reason the project took place is because of this primary frontal dune in front of the parking lot, which is disappearing depending on the storm in the winter, and being nourished by the town. So we're going to retreat that parking lot back. It will almost, the front edge of the parking lot will almost run parallel with the existing bathhouse. So I don't know if that context is important, but the next slide shows, as Beth mentioned, some of that flooding that's been experienced in the past. You can see some of the lines on the far right picture. That's water inside the gatehouse building, where it experienced flooding there. That October 21 picture is actually what Nina nicely refers to as Lake Sandy Neck, which ponds in the parking lot. And then you can see the gatehouse structure on those far left photos, two separate events. That bottom one is actually not a storm event. That's what we call nuisance flooding. So that happened at a high tide when we had higher flood levels. If you go down, Erica, so we can go section by section and we can kind of jump around as we go. So it says pergola, but it's really this pergola area that's adjusting slightly. So to reference where we are, if you look at that bathhouse picture, we're to the right. The pergola structure itself isn't changing, but the material underneath is changing. Right now, Nina can correct me, it's a decking and it will be stamped concrete afterwards. So that area will match everything near the concession stands and it will mimic what's around it. And then this sand play area and fencing is going to adjust slightly, just because the site itself is changing. So we had to shift that. We needed in this area to maintain the same number of parking spaces as is existing. So that was an interesting challenge and be able to fit a fire emergency vehicles through the parking lot. And then this existing overlook, which currently sits kind of in that in between the upper and lower parking lots, that's going to shift and it's going to live in the dune itself. And it's going to sit a little bit higher. It's going to be made of wood, and it's going to be ADA accessible. So the structure is going to mimic the look and feel, but we're going to improve the ADA accessibility. And actually, you're going to have a better view from that structure and be able to overlook the ocean. Do we want to go section by section, Bet? Is that best, or should I go?
That's good. Yes, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions in this area? No? Okay.
I don't. Anybody else?
Okay.
No.
All right. The ORV entrance, we kind of touched on that a moment ago. This shed is going to be moving kind of to where that existing dumpster area is. It's slightly higher. And again, like we said, it's going to improve the maneuverability of this area. Erica, can you go to the other tab you have open? And go to the sheet 7, please. Or Erica, I'm making her dance around all these slides. So you can kind of see where through the transparency where the existing shed is, and there's a fence that sits behind it. So that's getting removed. You can see the relocated shed is north of Erica's arrow behind the dumpsters. So it's kind of tucked in right there. The shed is going to mimic the existing shed. It's going to have gray siding with that burgundy door, and it's going to look just like the gatehouse, just slightly newer. And there will be some lighting in this area. I'll talk about lighting a little bit further on, but the lighting was designed in this area so that all of the lighting faces towards the ocean, not towards the residents. So that was a big component of this project and design as we designed it. Erica, you can jump back now. I appreciate you. Does anyone have any questions in this area?
What's going to be put down on the ground? Is that going to be graveled there? Yeah.
It is going to continue to be graveled. So similar to the way it works now, where individuals go on the gravel and then eventually go on the sand. And the gate that sits along the road is going to be moved further in. That was a public safety request on Nina's behalf.
Right. And so there's no real like designated parking spaces there for people, right? It's just a lot of
No.
room now. Yeah, but it
Yes,
will
that's
be.
a confusing, that other image is confusing. That was, again, we used that during the NOI process to mm, show physically how many cars you could fit
Yeah.
there. There won't be lined spaces. That's a
Yep.
great question.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
And those dumpsters will be reoriented. We're going to have to take that fencing down as part of the construction, but the same fencing will go up. All right, we can go on.
Okay.
The gatehouse area, so this is the existing building now. This building, as we just talked about, and the rock and the flagpole, which you can kind of see in that far right photo, are going to be moved up the hill. The ramp outside of the structure is going to need to be rebuilt, and that will continue to maintain the same look. It just needs to change in its height and shape for ADA accessibility.
And do you use AZAC in any of your materials, or do you just use wood for everything?
I think some of the materials along the site are AZAC.
Are
The
they? Okay.
existing pergola area currently is AZAC, but
Oh, it
that
is.
was aging. I think it was actually due to be repaired, to be changed, but Nina can probably speak on that if you want. She waited so that we could do it at the same time as we did the rest of the site.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no requirement. I was just curious because you usually see people are doing a lot of AZAC these days. So,
Yeah, I believe there's a slight section that connects the lower parking lot behind the bathhouse. I believe that that's AZAC.
yeah.
Again, yes, to your point.
Yeah.
It's a tricky site with, go ahead, Nina.
Yeah, I believe the decking is AZAC. That's a very useful material for these public buildings, very
I bet.
rugged.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the railing is wood, but the decking tends to be AZAC on the site.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nina. All right.
And then Erica, if you keep going down, I'm trying to remember what I have here. I think we just had the location. Oh, we had the location of the gatehouse, and then I think they got included over on the other slide. So if you jump back over to, so you can, slide 6 shows you the gatehouse area and how it will be relocated. When you look at these tan areas, that's just sand and the grading of the sand. Again, to Wendy's point, these kind of there's this gravel area near the existing gatehouse. Those won't be lined parking spaces. They're just showing how many cars can fit there. Erica, will you go down to 7 or 8? Let's see what else we have here. 7 we showed. 8 we have these are the new air compressor sheds. So as you can see, it's going to mimic what's there. And then lighting is on 11 in case anyone had any questions about that. Those sketch plans that are included in this presentation show the locations of lighting. There'll be some added bollard lighting, low lighting near the new gatehouse to improve safety. We have a lot of people walking around in that area, and we have a lot of people leaving during busy times. And then on the right, you can kind of see what's going to be used on the lighting near the ORV entrance. That's that dark sky lighting that just angles it away from the public houses.
Okay.
I included the swale just because I personally find it interesting, in case anyone wanted to know what's going to be in that swale in the middle of the parking lot to help with stormwater, but I think that's also just a nice place to, but I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay. The existing building where where some of the trucks are by the gatehouse, is that building remaining and staying exactly as it is? Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, that structure will stay right there. And on these sketch plans, it shows the air compressor shed right there. I think it might have moved a little
Uh-huh.
closer to the new gatehouse building, but it's going to be in that general area.
Okay.
And that was, again, for public safety. We have a lot of people we're trying to move off the site in busy times. So we're trying to add more access points for people to be able to air up, air down in a safe way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Is
know
that-
on holidays you have a huge
Hmm.
crowd coming there. It's just amazing that
And Nina, hats
sometimes,
off to Nina. She manages
yeah,
this site in an incredible way.
yeah.
Now, does that maintenance shed, does that flood ever? Does that get water in it or today?
It has flooded actually,
Yeah.
but it's designed, um, the water can kind of go in and out, like all the outlets are up high and there's no insulation. So as long as we clear it of the floor of anything that would be damaged, that's kind of how we've been addressing the flooding in the garage. It's only occurred once. And it's a brand new structure, so as is the bathhouse. Yeah, the bathhouse. So we wanted to leave those and use those a little longer before we had to make changes.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. This is Beck. Could I see the slide about where the parking lot would be up by the concession? Is
Yeah.
okay.
So it's a little hard to see, but you can see that faint pink line. Maybe Erica can point it out for us. That
Okay.
shows the existing parking lot shape. So you can see where it's moving
Okay.
back.
All right. Yeah, because that floods a lot too in there.
Mm-hmm. It's a great project. We're excited. We've secured quite a bit of funding to begin construction. So hopefully
Uh-huh.
construction will be beginning fall of 2025.
And are there then stairways down to the beach from there?
There's Moby
Is that
mats.
what the blue is? Yeah.
Yep, that's what is currently being used. So that Moby mat on the far left, that's going to continue to remain right there. And then we actually put a Moby mat on the far right-hand side of the parking lot right there.
Uh-huh.
That's actually the lowest elevation. So we put the handicap parking right near that. So it's that way it will improve accessibility for that population.
Okay. All right. This is bad. I don't have any more questions. I think it's a
I know
major,
this probably isn't a typical one you guys are used to looking at, so we appreciate it.
yeah. Well, I I go there a lot, so I know the area pretty well. So
Amazing.
A lot of planning on this one, huh?
yeah,
Wow. It's a lot to it. A lot.
well,
The amount
well,
of time that Nina has spent on this, again, I have to reiterate,
yeah,
she has made this happen.
yeah. Well, Mother Nature is shifting those sands, um, and it
Yeah.
seems like all the sand is sliding out to Sandy Neck Light down there. So
That sand loves to move. Bare beaches love to shift and move. I will say that this project is going to be an example for other towns. You're going to see a lot of other towns. I'm working on two other beach retreat projects, one in Dennis and one in Orleans right now. So this is going to continue to be something you see around the Cape. But Sandy Neck
uh-huh,
was one of the first, and the
uh-huh,
state was really supportive of the project.
great. All
How
right.
much beach do you think has Sandy Neck lost, do you think, over the last 20 years or so? Because I remember as a kid going down there and the parking lot was much different than it is now. Yeah. a
Nina
lot.
can answer that. I mean, I know since 2013, the situation's been very different, but I will say that I think it was in 78. Nina can answer this, but they did lose a row of parking. So part of
Ah,
the reason for this project was when they lost that row of the parking, we didn't, the town wasn't able to rebuild that parking space. So it's kind of a, if you don't move it, you lose it situation. Nina, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely accelerated. I've been managing the beach for 21 years now, and it's really the last 10, 12 years that we're seeing a lot of primary dune loss and beach elevation, right? So you lose beach elevation, it means when the tides come in with a nor'easter, you're really having a big hit on that primary dune. So it's kind of two
yeah.
different beach losses when people say that. But yeah, in the last 12 years or so, we've had to continually amend sand in front of the parking lot so that we don't lose parking spaces. And as Justine just said, if you lose them, that's it. And so it's accelerating, I would say.
Yeah.
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 And the project is designed to be able to handle, I think, 100-year storm in 50 years, if I said that right. So we're pushing everything back, certainly for my tenure, but it will be bunkered in there. We'll be creating a big dune in front of the parking lot for extra protection. And we still will need to amend that dune with sand and do plantings out there to just keep it as resilient as possible. But
Yeah.
it's a really, really good project. And then the flooding, I think Bet was talking about flooding. A lot of that's freshwater flooding because there's no stormwater features in the lower lot. So I also love the swale. You can see it running through the middle of this
Yeah,
lot.
that's cool.
Beautiful
Yeah.
natural garden that's basically attenuating the stormwater, the freshwater.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of really beautiful little features to this project, a lot of safety improvements, a lot of traffic flow improvements, a lot of access, particularly for folks that struggle with mobility. We really tried to look at everything in addition to how do we have the infrastructure protected from these storms that we're experiencing. So I'm really excited to hear your response to it. It sounds like the committee is pretty favorable of what we're doing out there, and it does really speak to the amount of planning we've put into this and public outreach to get the neighborhoods
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to take once you start?
Yeah, so we got to be quick, right? We don't want
Yeah, be
to.
quick.
Yeah.
We
Everybody's
get
going to put up
besides
with it only for so long.
besides the public use, we have clover season, which is
Yeah.
one window of time.
Oh,
And then
right.
actually out here we have what spadefoot toads. So actually we've had to mitigate for rare species, but not the rare species that everyone thinks. So we had to mitigate for the toads. So we also have a window of time we can work in with between the toads. So the goal, and it has to be done if Nina and I have our way. So we'll probably start construction around October, would you say, Nina? And then we need to finish up before April in the spring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they could be going to do finishing touches right up to the last minute, but we
Yeah.
need to access by April. Yeah, so we're gonna have to
The-
keep the pedal down.
And
Yeah.
to add on to what Nina said, beautifully said, we also wanted people to come out and feel like they're still at the same Sandy Neck. It's
Yeah.
not,
Right.
we didn't want it to feel like they came to some different place. So maintaining the character and the feel of what's already
Yeah.
there was essential.
Yeah.
Before all the piping plovers come, you have to.
But mostly the toads. We have
Yeah,
to
the
sweep
toad.
through the toads all summer. Yeah, the toads are a big deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I remember a whale washed up once
Mhm.
a while back. There
Yeah,
was a,
I'm back.
yeah. All right. Well, you've done a great job, really. And and you've made it beautiful as well. Functional and and beautiful. So
Thank you.
Well, Sandy Neck is beautiful. So It's not hard.
All right. Any other comments from the committee, or are we all set? Think we're good. Erica, are there any members of the in the public wishing to speak about this? Are there any?
Chair, this is Erica Brown. I don't see anyone from the public wishing to speak to this item at this time.
Okay. So I think then we can close the public hearing portion.
Yep, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
Okay. Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
And Bette McCarthy. Aye. So then we need a motion to approve this project.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for the town of Barnstable, 425 Sandy Neck Road, West Barnstable, map 263, parcel 001, built 1991, as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
And Bette McCarthy. Aye. So we are, you're good to go.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
luck
We
with
appreciate
it
your
all.
time.
Sandy Neck.
Bye.
We're going to have a big celebration when it's finished, right?
Mhm.
Sure
You're
are.
all invited.
Great.
Yay. Good
All
luck.
right.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you again.
All right. Thank you. I do not believe we have any minor modifications or extensions or other. So we just have some minutes to approve. The minutes of November 13th, 2024. I don't know if there were any corrections for that one.
I had just one question on 35 George on those minutes. I think the opening and the closing of the meeting, because I think it starts with, there's a motion to close.
Oh, okay, I can fix that and said put a motion to open.
Yeah, and then I think there needs to be a close at the end too.
Okay.
I don't think
I
there's
can
that. So
update
other than
that.
that, I thought they looked great.
All right. So I didn't see anything. Good catch, Wendy. So we need then a motion to approve the minutes of November 13th, 2024.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the minutes from the November 13th, 2024 meeting with one modification to update the open and closed public hearing part of the 35 George Street application, otherwise as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
and Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy. Aye. All right. Those minutes are approved as corrected. And the next minutes are December 18th, 2024. Any corrections or to that one?
I actually didn't read those. I thought I only saw the November 13th ones. That was my bad.
Okay. I quickly read over those. I didn't see anything. Anybody else? No. All right. So then we need a motion to approve the minutes of December 18th, 2024.
Okay. This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the minutes from the December 18, 2024 meeting as submitted.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
I don't think I can vote right. I didn't.
okay, and Bette
Yeah.
McCarthy. Aye. So our next meeting dates are January 22nd, 2025, and February 12th, 2025. So if there's no other business, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Okay, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to adjourn today's meeting Wednesday, January 8th, 2025.
Ryan Caholen, I'll second.
Thank you. On a roll call vote, Leslie Wallace.
Aye.
Ryan Caholen.
Aye.
Wendy Shuck.
Aye.
And Bette McCarthy, aye. So thank you all very much. And
Okay.